Americans think twice before traveling. Why more countries are telling American visitors to stay away in 2025. Traveling the world can be enriching, but not all countries welcome American tourists with open arms. Due to political tensions, cultural misunderstandings, security threats, or legal restrictions, some destinations have grown increasingly hostile or outright dangerous for U.S. citizens. In this video, we explore why certain nations discourage or restrict American travelers, highlighting real-world incidents, government advisories, and local attitudes. Whether you're a curious explorer or planning your next trip, join us as we uncover the countries that don't really want American tourists anymore. Quick favor before we dive in. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot and keeps you updated with more content like this. Now, let's get into it. Venezuela, once a jewel, now a cautionary tale. Travel dreams clash with political reality. Americans are actively discouraged from visiting Venezuela due to extreme dangers. The U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 Do Not Travel advisory, citing rampant threats like wrongful detention, including torture, violent crime, kidnapping, terrorism, civil unrest, and collapsing public services. There's no operational U.S. embassy or consulate. Detained Americans are often held without notification or legal access. With high crime rates, unreliable healthcare, and border volatility, Venezuela is deemed unsafe and inhospitable for American travelers. Cuba, dream deferred. A timeless island, beautiful, blocked, and bound by politics. American tourists are largely discouraged from visiting Cuba due to strict U.S. government restrictions. Pure tourism is banned, and travelers must meet specific licensed categories like support for the Cuban people. U.S. credit and debit cards don't work, and access to cash is limited. Spending at government-run businesses is prohibited, making logistics difficult. Intensified U.S. sanctions in 2025 have reduced flights and crippled tourism infrastructure. These barriers, combined with political tensions, make Cuba an unwelcoming and impractical destination for most Americans. Haiti, once the pearl of the Caribbean, now a nation. Gripped by crisis and crime, Haiti is considered highly dangerous for Americans due to rampant gang violence, political instability, and a breakdown of law enforcement. As of 2025, the U.S. Department of State maintains a Level 4 Do Not Travel advisory for Haiti. Armed gangs control large areas, including parts of Port-au-Prince, and are responsible for widespread kidnappings, carjackings, and violent crimes. The Haitian National Police lacks resources to maintain order, leaving civilians and foreigners vulnerable. Medical infrastructure is extremely limited, and emergency assistance is difficult to access. Additionally, civil unrest and frequent fuel shortages can trap travelers in dangerous situations. These conditions make Haiti unsafe for American tourists at present. Russia, majestic and monitored, a journey shadowed by geopolitics and risk. Russia is highly unwelcoming to American tourists due to political tensions, safety risks, and restricted consular support. The U.S. government warns against all travel, citing arbitrary detentions, surveillance, and legal risks, especially amid Russia's war in Ukraine. U.S. citizens have been arrested on dubious charges, often denied legal access. Credit cards and money transfers don't work due to sanctions, and visa processes are uncertain. With minimal embassy assistance and growing hostility, Russia is not a safe or welcoming destination for Americans. Turkmenistan. A land of marble and control, travel only, under watchful eyes, and nearly impossible to enter. Turkmenistan is highly restrictive toward American tourists, making travel extremely difficult and unwelcoming. U.S. citizens must obtain a letter of invitation and are required to stay with a government-approved guide at all times. Independent travel is not permitted, and failure to register with the authorities can result in fines, deportation, or travel bans. Many regions require special permits, and surveillance is common. These strict controls reflect the government's authoritarian stance and deep mistrust of foreign, especially American visitors, effectively discouraging tourism. Belarus, Europe's last dictatorship, restricted, repressive, and reluctant to welcome strangers. Belarus is not welcoming to American tourists due to escalating political tensions and safety concerns. The U.S. government has issued a Level 4 Do Not Travel advisory, warning of arbitrary detentions, surveillance, and lack of consular support. Americans have been jailed for minor infractions or political reasons, with limited legal recourse. Belarus's alliance with Russia and role in the Ukraine conflict further heighten risks. U.S. citizens visiting Belarus may be monitored, harassed, or detained without warning, making travel extremely dangerous and discouraged. Chad, remote and resilient, but not rolling out the welcome mat for Americans. Americans are increasingly unwelcome in Chad due to rising political tensions and severe security risks. In June 2025, Chad suspended visa issuance for U.S. citizens in retaliation for a U.S. travel ban. The country also faces ongoing threats from Boko Haram and ISIS-linked militants, particularly in border regions. Armed robbery, kidnapping, and violent crime are widespread, even in the capital, N'Djamena. With minimal U.S. consular support and poor infrastructure, American travelers face high risk and limited protection throughout the country. Libya, closed borders, open danger, a no-go zone for good reason. Americans are largely unwelcome in Libya due to a mix of political resentment, security threats, and lingering distrust. Many Libyans blame the United States for its role in the 2011 NATO intervention that led to the fall of Muammar Gaddafi and the country's subsequent chaos. As a result, anti-American sentiment remains strong, especially among militias and armed groups who view U.S. citizens as symbols of foreign interference. Americans are often seen as targets for kidnapping, extortion, or political leverage. With no functioning U.S. embassy, no reliable security, and a fractured government, Libya offers neither safety nor hospitality to American travelers. Yemen, war-torn and walled off, a land too dangerous to enter. Yemen likely doesn't want American tourists anymore, tangled in a web of war and politics. Since the 2014 civil war, ongoing clashes and terrorism risks, like al-Qaeda attacks, make it a danger zone, especially after a 2022 truce failed to fully stabilize things. U.S. sanctions and travel advisories, including a Level 4 do not travel warning as of 2025, strain relations and deter visitors. With infrastructure wrecked and only about 1,000 mainland tourists yearly, Yemen's focus is survival, not tourism. Americans face visa hassles and no U.S. embassy support, so as of 2025, it's a hard pass for them. Syria, no safe passage, land of lost glory, now watched by drones and dust. Syria probably isn't keen on American tourists anymore, tangled in a web of political tensions and safety woes. Since the 2011 civil war erupted, it's been a battleground with constant clashes and terrorism threats, deterring visitors. U.S. sanctions have strained relations, and travel warnings highlight violence and detention risks. With shattered infrastructure and tourism struggling to rebound, Syria might dodge the burden of Americans, who face visa headaches and could tax scarce resources. As of August 2025, survival trumps hospitality. The government eyes U.S. citizens suspiciously amid claims of war involvement, with a Level 4 do not travel advisory citing terrorism and kidnapping risks. Iran, forbidden paths and fragile peace, not a tourist playground. Iran remains highly cautious about American tourists due to decades of political hostility with the United States. Although some Iranians are warm and hospitable toward foreigners, the government imposes strict regulations on U.S. citizens. Americans must join guided tours with government-approved escorts, and independent travel is prohibited. Heightened tensions, sanctions, and past incidents, such as the detainment of American travelers, have made Iran a risky destination for U.S. tourists. Additionally, anti-American sentiment persists in some state messaging, further discouraging tourism. While Iran boasts rich cultural heritage and historic sites, American visitors are generally viewed with suspicion, and their presence is closely monitored. North Korea, the world's most forbidden land, off-limits, unforgiving, unseen. North Korea does not actively welcome American tourists and heavily restricts their entry for political and security reasons. The U.S. government has banned its citizens from traveling to North Korea since 2017, following the death of Otto Warmbier, an American student imprisoned there. Even before the ban, Americans were subject to intense surveillance, limited access, and severe penalties for minor infractions. North Korean authorities often view American visitors as potential political tools or threats, making tourism risky and tightly controlled. The regime's distrust of the U.S. and desire to limit outside influence mean American tourists are neither encouraged nor genuinely welcomed. As we've explored, not every country welcomes American tourists with open arms. From political tensions to safety concerns and cultural misunderstandings, travel today requires more awareness than ever. Understanding these issues can help you make smarter, safer choices abroad. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. If you found this content informative, please give it a like, hit the subscribe button, and let us know your thoughts or experiences in the comments below.